மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.
Hey guys, and welcome back. So in this game, we're going to see another nice masterpiece in the London by Grandmaster Wei Yi, and this is just such a nice game to go through, as Wei Yi built up a really nice positional bind on black, and then finished things off very nicely with a great tactical sequence. So I do want to show the opening stage, just kind of show how Wei Yi put his pieces. We had a very typical London line. After bishop g4, black develops the bishop outside of this eventual pawn chain, which is usually black's goal. But the one drawback, of course, as we've seen before, when developing the bishop so early, it leaves the b pawn a bit less defended. And in this case, Wei Yi goes for the immediate queen b3. And we're going to see how white not only builds up pressure on the queen side, but eventually crashes through on the queen side a bit later in the game. So going forward here, queen c8, both sides complete development. And now knight e5, a nice move to improve the position, also leaving the bishop a bit out of place on g4, as now it's just staring into empty space. And white is looking to perhaps remove the knight from c6, so queenside play becomes a bit easier for white. So knight got traded, knight d7, bishop f4, knight b6, and now I really like Wei Yi's next move. It's a really nice positional move to attempt to put a bind on black. And if you don't see the next move or haven't seen the next move, I would encourage you to pause the video and find the best continuation for white in this position. So the move to play, very thematic positional move, pawn a4, simply going for a5 and trying to restrict black, taking advantage of the knight on b6, as it doesn't really have any forward squares to go to. And if we just look at the position, we can see there's very little active play from black. I mean, the pieces are somewhat developed, but there's very little coordination, and it seems like black is just is up to nothing in this position. And as we'll see, it only made things easier for white. So black went for this trade, bishop to f5, which looks a bit weakening as it leads to this somewhat damaged pawn structure, but it really wasn't clear what else to do. So Wei Yi went ahead, trades bishops, plays rook e1, going for control of the very nice open e-file. Play continues, queen d7, a5, black is being pushed back, white improves, and now we start to see this improvement on the queen side, especially after f6 is played. There's some nice x-ray vision along this diagonal, and Wei Yi wastes no time to play this pretty explosive move, pawn c4, trying to perhaps open up more lines, and especially because black's pieces are so badly placed in this position, if the position does open up, it's going to favor white from a tactical standpoint, as white's pieces are just on better squares. So going forward here, rook d8, a6, attempting to provoke weaknesses even further in black's position, pawn b6, and now c5, another nice move, making progress, also restricting the knight, which is pretty out of play on c8. So black in this position played g5, which walks into the tactic which we'll see. I do want to make a note, if black decides to take on c5, there's a very powerful move by white, queen to b7, taking advantage of the fact that white's queen can't be taken because of this pretty nasty fork, and white would just be winning material here. Meanwhile, white is essentially trapping the rook on a8, and really the only move to save the rook is to somehow move the knight. But if a move like knight d6 is played, white is winning material after several exchanges, rook take e7, and white is up a couple minor pieces for the rook, winning the pawn in c5. This should be a very easy conversion for white. So going back to this position, black played g5, and now we see a really nice tactical resource by the Grandmaster Wei Yi. Instead of moving his bishop from f4, he goes for the in-between move, the counterattack, and this is such a common theme in this course. When you're being attacked, sometimes it's better to look for counterattack and active play rather than passive defense, and this is exactly what we see here. After pawn to c6, the queen is attacked, and the line which unfolds is actually really really simple for whites. White just continues making threats. After queen takes c6, rook ac1 hitting the queen retreats. I should point out that if queen to d7, white can continue with rook to c7, very nice move, and then after queen e8, I mean, white's pieces are just on beautiful squares, and then the simple retreating move, bishop to d2, is just about lights out for black, as a threat of bishop to b4 is coming, and there's going to be very few defenses here. So black played the immediate queen e8 after rook c1, and then bishop c7, continuing the initiative. This rook on d8 almost traps, only one safe square after rook d7, and now the follow through from white's queen to b5, and now the simple threat is queen to c6 with this trap of the rook on a8, and this pin along the e file does not make things any easier for black, as he has to constantly worry about this bishop on e7. So what happened in the game? Knight d6 was played, an attempt to try and untangle the pieces, but this leaves the d5 pawn undefended. After queen take d5, king g7, and now just a matter of a simple tactics for white with bishop take d6. And if the bishop is taken, feel free to pause your video and find the crushing blow in this position. Hopefully not too difficult. The move being rook take e7, leaving the rook on a8 undefended. So what happened in the game was, after bishop take d6, black played rook a d8, and then the very simple queen to e6, and black is essentially paralyzed here, just going to be down a piece. This bishop appears to be hanging, but if it's taken by the rook, there's queen take e7, and if it's taken by the bishop, there's queen take e8. So white is just going to be up material and continuing the attack. Going back, there was one moment after queen take d5, black could have played knight to f7, but this just runs into something like queen take f5, and white is up a pawn here. Still amazing position, and I mean, just look at the setup of black's pieces compared to white's pieces. So white would be having great chances to win the game here. So I really like this example. It goes to show not only the power of initiative, but the power of the in-between move, especially after this moment when black played pawn g5. I think it was very important to have an aggressive mindset. And when your opponent makes a threat, if you can look for ways to make counter threats, it can make the game a lot more fun to play. So really hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you for the next lesson.
மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.